Welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky. The show will begin momentarily.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? And they may well ask, why climb the highest mountain? Why, 35 years ago, fly the Atlantic? We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other thing. Not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one we intend to win. We choose to go to the moon.
Hello, welcome to Super Happy Dragon Lucky, the Dragonchain update show. This is episode 1x1, which is hex 0x101. This is the 258th episode, weekly episode with AMAs. And reminder, nothing on the show is financial advice. And stay tuned after the updates for an AMA. So quick updates, Dragonchain first. Let's see here. We have for Dragonchain updates, the Super Happy Dragon Lucky distribution for last week was 566 lot. 2 questions were answered for 141 lot each. The host received 141 lot and Dragonchain received 141 lot. On Den.Social, we have a layer creation process event. The commitment phase is now open for the July 2024 LCP. The selections will be limited to the first proposal, a new layer proposal by unique voters, and also the first by lore committed. It could be the same. It could be the same proposal. All commitments should be made by next Tuesday, July 16th at 1000 Eastern, 1400 UTC. And DINDAO updates. Let's see here. There's a new format for the DINDAO. We need to have a meeting sometime soon, I think, because there have been a few questions asked. So if anybody wants to call that out and figure out when we can all get together, let us know. Otherwise, make sure that you put a comment in this post if you need to talk about something or ask a question directly, and we'll try to get it answered. Next, we go to World Blockchain Roundtable. In case you missed last week's episode, it was had a topic, how blockchain is solving real world problems. Go watch and share it. The more views it gets the first week, the more lot all the participants will get. And episode 164, again, this is the first ever and probably still the only DAO-based podcast. So the podcast where you can get a piece of it and you can control the format and even the hosts and whatever else you want to do. So this week's episode is how to tokenize assets with and without ownership. It is episode 164. It will air today at 1100 Eastern, 1500 UTC. And make sure you get in there and leave a question if you haven't already. It looks like there are a bunch of questions already, so awesome there. And that'll be in, gosh, it looks like it's about 56 minutes pretty soon. So now we go to DRAKARIA updates. So make sure you go follow DRAKARIA World on X. Everything's happening there. There is a new contest running for those gateway keys. There will only be 42 gateway keys given away outside the team. I think the team has 19. It's either 17, 18, or 19. I can't remember. Keys that will be for every member of the team. But you can win one of them, also one of the 42. And the current contest is essentially to draft a motto, and I believe this is how it's going to work for every one of the 4 elemental houses, fire, earth, air, and water. you will be able to propose one or more. I'm not sure if you can do more than one or not, but one or more mottos that will be the first motto of that clan, of that house, of that family of dragons. And the I guess they will be whittled down by the team, so that the best four will be placed up for vote for each house. The best four will be placed up for vote on X, I do believe, so that we can get attention to the project. But get in there and participate in that, because anybody could win it. And this is going to be a lot more skill based for sure than some of the other random contests that happened. Okay. Let's see here. And also there's a lot of stuff. We're getting close to having the introduction website done, and a few other things to roll out. I'm not sure when they'll go out or anything, but we're getting a lot of stuff done recently. So make sure you join up there. So and follow Drakaria World on X. That's probably one of the most important things. So while I refresh the AM, that's all the updates. So while I refresh the AMA questions live on air for this episode, 101. What was the number on it? The 258th episode. That's like, is that 5 years? Almost 5 years, something like that. Anyway, it's like maybe one episode short of a five year or something. Anyway, I think that's right. So we'll go to the questions. First up, y'all weird. This is a great question. Would it be possible to limit tags per post to 3 and tags per reply to 1? I do believe it would be possible. If so, I'd say that that may be up for a DenDAO vote. The last week or so, I'm seeing the resurgence of tag spam. Yep, see, you can see this right here. Why is this is not news, right? It's not even related to Dragon. I mean, everything's related to Dragon in the end, in time or something else, but not specifically. This is not really related to a current event, right? So it is original. It is a super happy Dragon Lucky question, very much. And I need to vote on it, right? I need to vote a good amount on it. See the tags added to this reply. Yeah, so original. Yeah, that's not it. That's not a question, but yeah. So anyway, very good point. And if y'all weird, the great, if you don't have, I can't remember if you were one of the people that got one of the honorary DenDAO founder/builder vote lot. So if you haven't, I'm going to propose you for this month. And I can't remember the process, but we might have to vote for it. But either way, it would be awesome if you could add this this proposal to the DenDAO for a vote. So I'm going to look at that, and we will. I'm not sure how it works. I might even, I'll have to look if I can tip you one too. I'll look at the process is. If I can tip you one, then it's much better. But either way, we'll figure it out. Next, Time Hoarder in Dragonchain. I may have misheard, but I remember that the Drakaria layer exists with additional Den functionality. Are you able to explain the expanded layer functions/features? If they do exist, when would they roll out to existing layers? Okay, so probably possible that you misheard a little bit. The Drakaria layer does exist. It is a private layer. There are a number of private layers for people who want to have something in a particular closed community or whatever. And Drakaria was intended. It was going to be a private layer until such time as, like say, the dragons are revealed. Like when the first dragon hatches, because there are a lot of images in that private layer of the test renders, right? So you could see what the dragons look like. So it's only private right now. It won't be private in the end for sure. And it doesn't have yet any special functionality, although the plan is to do something similar. If you remember what Sticky DAO had, where it was NFT-based voting, or more closely what DenDAO has, because the governance for Drakaria, the plan is to have the builder vote, which is all the people who started and all the teams that are involved creating the project, as one class of vote, kind of like what we have with DinDAO. And then the other two would be, I think, the second vote would be all hatched dragons, primal dragons. So any eggs that are spawned that hatch into dragons will have a vote in that group. And then the last group would be all other characters, which would be any dragons that end up or are born from breeding rather than being spawned as a primal, or any dragons, any other characters, unicorns, elves, knights, whatever we have in Dracaria for games. So those will have their own vote too. And so the whole ecosystem will have a really clear governance. And there might be, splits with various other behaviors and stuff like that in there too. Undecided, but that's some of what, those will be, voted in. So, so let me give you a good vote on this, a good amount of energy. Original, super happy question. It's not dragon. It is Den. It is, I don't think it's current events, but maybe, yeah, probably not. I am Pram. It's dangerous to be right when the government is wrong. From Voltaire. If Den were to become open sourced and decentralized and then became a site commonly used by radicals and revolutionaries, how would a government go about preventing their citizens from accessing it? TikTok comes to mind. Yeah, they would probably try to come after whoever is hosting it. Okay, let's see here. It is a question. It is Den. It is, I don't think it's current events, but anyway, if it's decentralized well, then it would be hard for them to cut it. There are a lot of interesting things that still are unsolved in the decentralized world because crypto Twitter and everyone else has been, and all the venture capitalists have been focused on number go up instead. But essentially, one of the big things that would be necessary would be, a normie friendly, decentralized domain system where, DNS right now is centralized and they can very easily cut stuff off. You can look at several sites that's happened to in ways that you would never expect that. And it's really kind of blows my mind that no one asks questions about it. But, that's one of the big ones. The hosting itself would be relatively simple. If they really want to keep you from it, with the ISPs, depending upon how you're getting your access to the internet, it'll be hard for people to access it without really wanting to, which would hurt adoption for sure. I would even say a good way to do it, and it's already in the architecture for Den, is to focus on communities themselves. That is, every community essentially being hosted on its own. So instead of them coming after Den, hopefully they would go after one community. And the reason I say that is that, let's say you have a niche community that, let's just say protesters in some country in the world, who knows what country, doesn't matter. And that government says, we don't want you to be able to access this. It wouldn't affect the rest of Den. And those people, being as it is decentralized, would be able to focus on finding, the best solution to access for them, which might be regional. But that would be very helpful because it wouldn't hurt, or it wouldn't affect everybody the same, for one thing. But it also would let those groups find the best solution to get their niche community access out there, right? So and that's typically how that stuff would happen. It's not going to be usually some generalized like a 4chan poll or something group where it's about everything, and so they can go after the one focus or 4chan itself, right? So if we can decentralize on the communities themselves, both in governance, and in hosting. And we already have the governance covered. So the hosting is the part that would be helpful, right? So there's a lot there. And frankly, it could even be something where you localize the interface, what is a web interface, to a local, and so that when you access DIN, you pull down the browser-based but the browser-based interface, and then the browser-based interface, directly accesses chain elements instead of hitting, this a centralized or partially decentralized hosting. That would at least keep it confined to each community in a pretty neat way. But there are a lot of things that are improving in the world for decentralized compute that will help us there. So, great question. I voted up. No? Yes. Okay. So the next thing we have is a featured post by Dragon Knight. Proof of randomness. DRAKARIA tech applied to DragonNet node selection. Shower thought. If not already, could some of DRAKARIA's verifiable randomness be utilized on the DragonNet node selection? I see this as a demonstration of the plug-and-play ability of the tech to improve systems. Absolutely. I'll tell you that this is something that I wanted way back then, but we were very early in the game, and the devs didn't understand it when I was asking for it, and we didn't have some of the time to get it in. So I kind of compromised and said, okay, we'll just do whatever's necessary there. It would be a relatively simple replacement of the little engine that does the selection engine. And frankly, how do I say this? What I'm looking at, I mean, we're looking at a few things with refactoring to improve greatly the various parts of the network for some upcoming, events that hopefully happen. And this is one of them, where essentially to further decentralize the selection itself, to further decentralize, or we've talked about this in the past, to federalize or to federate the actual running of the nodes, so that you could, or the running of the network infrastructure, so that you could not only run a level 2, 3, 4, but you could also run a level 5. You could potentially also run some of the actual network infrastructure itself and be rewarded for it. It would be just like you were, it would be a different type of verification node. And, you would apply time and you would do all of the same stuff, but you would just run different code. And the reason we're talking about that too is so that more normies can run verification nodes on smaller devices, right? On Raspberry Pis, or, on their laptops or whatever else. And that it would be pole focused. So you wouldn't have to poke a hole in your firewall or have to know anything about, the networking itself, or, you wouldn't be forced to run it on a cloud-based server. You could run it still at home if you want. And it essentially to further decentralize, because when you run stuff on cloud, if everything is running on AWS or any cloud infrastructure, it's not decentralized, right? And most of crypto is run on AWS. So it's kind of frustrating. But that is an excellent and awesome proposal, and I commend you for it. Wait, that's not news. That is original. That is a suggestion for sure, and a question. You can see the stars. If you guys don't remember, I sometimes forget. The stars are the things that Dragon Knight tagged himself or herself. And sorry, I don't know. It's not. It is related to Dragon. It's somewhat related to time. I don't want to say anything there, but either way, this is a good point, and it is a part of the plan that hopefully will happen. And I would also say, a little side note, this was originally a Dragonchain, very, very early Dragonchain concept that I've talked about for so many years, hoping that someone would pick it up and, build things with it. We've had a couple that did, but that is why DRAKARIA was launched, both because one of the partners that came to us with the dragons, and because I've been wanting to do this for, at the time, probably 7 or 8 years. So it's a big deal. And yes, you are absolutely right. It should be applied to that exact purpose. It's very glaring absence in that part of the system. So thanks for calling it out. Now, let's see here. We will unclose. Make sure you go to Dragonchain.Store, get some merch. It's summertime. You need a hoodie. I'm joking. I don't know why hoodies came up, but either way, get a mug, get some Dragonchain Crest stuff, and have fun with it. And then also, if you have the means, please donate to the Legal Defense Fund. We're getting close to I hope we're getting close to getting this thing taken care of. But if you can donate, we do owe our attorney a lot of money. We're going to have to figure out how to pay them. We're totally tapped out that they stole all the money from us in this process. Inclusion with all the big, what do they call them? White shoe legal firms. So law firms. It's horrible. There is no law. And so if you can donate with crypto, or you can donate with your fiat, your dirty fiat that you need to get rid of anyway before it's worthless. So give it to us so we can, throw it to the lawyer and get our bill dropped down so that we can move on to better things after we win the case. Also, make sure you watch next week Super Happy Dragon Lucky at the same time, and watch the Roundtable, World Blockchain Roundtable, today at 1100 Eastern, 1500 UTC. That's in about 48 minutes. 38 minutes. And then follow Dragonchain, Real Denizens, and Jojo Row on Twitter. And Joe and Jojo, the official Dragonchain account on Den.Social. I think that's everything. And so we're going to close out with the song that was written, and it's even as it we own, Den owns the NFT for this song. If anybody's interested in buying it, that's another way we could maybe fund the legal fund, right? Maybe we should start selling some of those assets that we hold as NFTs and the logos and stuff like that. Let us know if you want to help out with any of that. That might be a really good way to do it. But anyway, Y'all Weird created this song for Den, and it's brilliant, and I'll see you next week.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best.
Adaptable, all capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible, but that conclusion is laughable. So with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now.